Thanks for being on with me. I guess this is our opening, first part of the season press conference. Give everybody a feel what's going on with the program. Preparing for Michigan, obviously. Really, really just excited to be wrestling. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround. The schedule just came out Friday, but our guys are eager to get in Big Ten Conference. Obviously, it's an incredible challenge based on our schedule. You guys have seen the schedule, who we're wrestling. But it's a great opportunity for our guys, some of them young, some of them been around. A lot to overcome. We've done a really good job. I think probably the best thing I could do, first and foremost, is give credit to our doctors. They've been incredible to us, for us. They've really bent over backwards and trying to make this work. And our guys, our staff and our guys in the program have done an incredible job of trying, to the best of our ability through the holidays, creating this bubble really since September. That has kept us, for the most part, really, really healthy. And, knock on wood, we stay that way. Obviously, we're back from New Year's, but we didn't have much of a break over New Year's. We practiced New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. So Christmas, we're through that, I think. And right now, from a health standpoint, we're good. So with that, I'll open up the questions. And it's good seeing everybody, by the way.
So we'll start with James Cratch, NJ.com. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Scott, I guess I got to ask you first off, what is Nick Suriano's status? And do you have anybody, I know it's been a while since I talked to you, training-wise, who's not going to be available for Friday night or maybe for the season?
Yeah, first question, shocker, Cratch. You come at me with that one, but that's good. No, it's a good question. There's been a lot of – first of all, there's been dialogue with the family over the weekend. There's been a lot of dialogue. The option is still open. Obviously, Nick is enrolled. Nick Suriano is chasing this Olympic dream. He was training with us through October, middle of October, decided to go out to Arizona to find different training partners for his freestyle, for a freestyle advantage. He's found it very comfortable out there. He's got some great partners out there. They brought some people in out there. So he's solely freestyle out there. Now, I know there's been some articles that have been out about it's unlikely he will return. Right now, it's probably 50-50. Again, there's been good dialogue with the family. And we're just going to wait and see. There is a plan in place. Now the plan obviously has to satisfy not only Nick, because we fully support his Olympic dream, but it also has to solidify our program, right? It's got to be fair to our program where he's back training with us and he's competing with us a little bit now. It probably won't be a whole season, but if he gets back with us, and it's got to be pretty quickly here around the corner, that he'll do that. Is there a timetable set in stone right now? No, but there's some things that need to be done from a compliance standpoint because he did take an Olympic red shirt. So as long as we get that stuff satisfied and he gets certified for the weight class he can wrestle, there's a couple things he has to do. Again, there's been some dialogue. Still, a decision has not been made, but there's been some talk back and forth about whether he'll come back or whether he'll concentrate on some freestyle events leading up to the Olympic trials April 4th. I hope that clears things up a little bit. I will say this, we fully support Nick Suriano.
And Scott, is anybody else out for the season, out for this week? I know there's been talk about Vulak maybe.
Yes, Vulak is Vulak has retired from the sport based on his back, unfortunately. He tried to go out in November. He did. He wrestled in Omaha, and it had just got to be, he was re-injured. He was on and off. So he will not be with us for this semester, and he's planning on retiring from the sport. Still in school, so you never know. But for now, he won't be with us this season. Everybody else is a go as of today.
Okay, we'll go Bobby Darin, 24/7.
Scott, how you doing?
What's up, Bobby? How's everything?
Good. Hey, I was curious about your preparation. I mean, it's not a typical season to start off with these three powers in a row. Have you adjusted, the training regimen, how you're preparing and how you're entering the season?
Actually, we've been training since September. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's in there every single day, right? There's been some positive tests through September, October. There's also been a lot of close contacts. So, and we've been really, really smart and safe of keeping people out. So, but we have been training since September. We just got done wrestling an event Saturday, Battle on the Banks. So we were preparing for that. We wrestled an event down in North Carolina where a lot of our guys wrestled, and we wrestled an event in Nebraska in early November. So we're training with events, 4 events. So we're in a good spot, I feel. The toughest part has been not having a schedule, not knowing who to prepare for. But as far as being in shape, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Obviously, it's the first duel of the year, but we've been training. I think we'll be in great shape. We've been preparing for things, which is important. So preparing for events. So from a preparation standpoint, I feel like we'll be in really, really good wrestling shape. Clearly, it's a tough opponent. It would have been nice to know we were wrestling early out, but that's where we're at with the Big Ten. So, but we'll be ready to wrestle really, really hard. So there'll be no excuse as far as that goes.
Next question from Steve Falk, Gannett.
I can't hear you, Steve.
Muted.
Is he muted?
Can you hear me now, Scott?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
And second of all, can you give us an idea what your lineup might look like right now?
Yeah, well, the good thing, and this is good for our viewers and good for you guys, there's a chance, each dual meet may also have exhibition matches or whatever you want to call it, challenge matches. So we'll dress 20 guys. We'll probably go 2 at a weight. So for this weekend, I would anticipate, Aguilar Shawver, 25. I think Sammy Britton, 33. 41, Sebastian, 49, Gerard Angelo, Mikey Van Brill, 57, Kennard, Harrison, 65, Donner and O'Neill, 74, Grello and Turley, 84, Paz, because we only have one, 97, Epperly and Janzer, and heavyweight, Esposito and Colucci. So those are there's 18 guys there that'll suit up. Who's going to start in the duel? We'll figure that out as a staff. You guys probably have a really good idea, but we'll figure that out as a staff, more concrete probably today and tomorrow. And then, but those guys should be getting matches, and I know Michigan is bringing 20 guys. We'll have 2 mats set up in the rack in preparation. I'm on a call here at 12 o'clock to see exactly when those exhibition matches could start. But the plan is for every dual meet and every try and every quad is to be getting extra matches going forward. So something that could be, different. If Christian Colucci starts at heavyweight for the dual meet, he could also wrestle in another match later on in the night, if that makes sense to you. So Sebastian could wrestle 2 matches in a night, and Alvarez could wrestle 2 matches in a night. So that's something that could be different as we try to get matches. The magic number, so you guys know, is 4 for a national ranking, a Big Ten seed, and a national tournament seed. 4 matches.
Okay, we'll go Mike Abramitis, 24/7.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good, Coach. Some of the wrestlers that you would normally redshirt, if you do use them as a starter, do they get a free year anyway this year?
Free year. So, I could give an example, right? Probably Jojo Aragona would have redshirted. He'll wrestle matches this year. Sebastian probably would have taken an Olympic red shirt. He'll wrestle this year, and it's a free year. So someone like Sebastian has the option to come back. And that goes for everybody. It's a free year.
That's, I guess, makes all the coaches happy.
Yeah, there's no redshirting. There's no redshirts. So anybody's available, they're good to go. So
one other question. You mentioned 2 of the heavyweights with Esposito and Colucci. What's the status with McDermott?
McDermott's on the roster. He's wrestling. He's training. He's adjusting. He's, just right now, the other 2 are a little bit ahead of him, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Great. And do you anticipate Keontae Hamilton after spring practice next year, he'll be available for you guys?
He signed his letter of intent, I'm assuming, so I could talk about Keontae. Good. Yeah, that's the plan. We've been – obviously there's a ton of dialogue with the football coaches for several reasons, but Keontae's one of those reasons. And the plan for him is whenever the bowl game's over, he'll be back with us. As far as him, he's not coming here early. I know that. He's going to wrestle his season,
right.
So there won't be no early entrance for him. So he'll come late June, and he'll be with the football program and then get with us when that season ends.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
Okay, next question comes from Aaron Brightman on the Banks.
Hey, Coach. Wanted to ask about the depth of the roster. It's arguably as strong as it's ever been. How has it helped in this kind of disjointed offseason just get everybody in terms of their development ready for this season?
Yeah, it's been good. We always coach everybody. That's never really a problem in our program. But the fact that everybody's wrestling, you got to really pay attention to all 30 guys, and actually 32. So It's been good. There's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of one-on-ones for development purposes. This comes on you pretty quick, and maybe some of those freshmen aren't ready right away. But because there's no redshirt year and there's no open tournaments, you got to get them ready for these competitions. So the development has been good, I think. I mean, we're certainly going to find out with the schedule, but we've paid a lot of attention to every single kid in the program. So yeah, I don't want to say there's a sense of urgency. But there's really there's a sense that this is going to – the one thing the staff has done a good job of, I believe, is we knew we were going to wrestle this weekend. We knew, and it's been out there for a couple months. And my whole thing was we got Iowa or Penn State to open up because those guys wanted to wrestle right away. So that's what I was anticipating. It would be either Iowa or Penn State, and it just so happens to be Michigan, who starts number 2 in the country. So we were prepared for this, and that meant every single guy on the roster. So that's how we went about it.
Next question will be from Lou Brogno from our BTN Plus broadcast. Go ahead, Lou. Lou, you're muted.
How's that? Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
All right. Hey, Scott, obviously it's right into the fire Friday against Michigan, but I guess anybody you would wrestle in the Big Ten, it would be the same thing, 10 teams in the top 25. What are your thoughts heading into the season with this unbelievable conference?
It's I don't know if I would have drew it up, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, but listen, here's reality. I'm just super, super grateful that we're wrestling and we're competing. These years are long enough, right, for these guys, so I couldn't imagine going a whole year with no competitions and trying to motivate these guys, and I'm super proud of them the way they prepared for the last 3 months for competition. Our mindset was we are going to wrestle in this conference, and that's really where we're at. So, it's Michigan, it's Penn State, it's Ohio State, but that's the conference we're in. It's what these guys have signed up for. That's what this staff has signed up for. We're excited about the challenge. There's some great opportunities for us to really get some young guys to throw themselves right in the mix, right into a national ranking real quick just by having a great outing on Friday night. So that's kind of the way we always take this. And, I'm not going to get hung up on wins and losses this year because you're going to see a lot of different people. I'm going to get caught up on the development and being ready for March. And that's kind of where we're at. And I think you'll see that as we go. You might not see all of our number ones every single time out, right? Especially in quad meets and tri meets. It's just we got to do what's right for our guys from a health standpoint. And because it's only 6 weigh-ins, 9 matches, 6 dates, they only got to weigh in 6 times. We have to be ready for the Big Ten and national tournament. And there's guys that are out there right now training that believe they can win at that tournament. So that is going to be our total focus this year is those 3 days in March.
Next question will be from Lex Knapp from Rob. Go ahead, Lex.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, Lex? How you doing?
Good, Coach.
How bad were the Florida Gators the other night, huh? Oof.
I didn't come here to talk about that, but all right. We played in the bowl, right? Not the Seminoles, but anyway. You're always big on the team staying within 1 practice away from their weight. Mm-hmm. How do you keep that focus back in October and November when you're usually wrestling and there's not really a goal in mind or an even season start point? How do you keep the team focused and practicing and staying on top of those things with no really, end point in sight here?
Well, through these Big Ten Zoom calls with coaches, I kind of had a feel when the start date would be. So first 2 months, strictly development. Getting these guys in shape, strength training with Coach DeMarco has been awesome, right? Getting these guys fit. And then we start our descent, and then we get these guys certified. So, again, first 2 months development. I love the fact that we started the season in January. I hope to God the NCAA and the NWCA, we go to this from here on out. It's a second semester sport. But once I knew the date was probably January 8th weekend, it was our descent plan that, of course, you've been around and accustomed to and started 5 weeks out to be within 10 and then, 4 weeks out to be within 8 and 3 weeks out to be within 6. And every week it was in 2. And the guys, there's no coincidence. The guys that are ultra successful are really staying on top of that. Now, are there a couple guys with weight problems? Sure. There were a couple guys competing. We didn't really hold them strict to that plan. But for the most part, our team stuck to that plan and made weight. And just this past weekend, we were +2 and had some indicator matches. Some other guys who wrestled in that Battle of the Banks were +2. So sticking to their descent plan. Once we got to be 5 weeks out, we were locked in on being super, super disciplined. disciplined. And the only way to win in this conference and even around the country is you got to be disciplined all three phases of your life. And, that's one thing you can control is your weight management. And for the most part, our guys have done that.
With the rack, it's no secret. It's one of the best home environments in the country. And this year you do lose that advantage with the New Jersey fan base. Do you think that'll play any impact on the team?
Listen, man, and I know once you put your foot on the line, it's a wrestling match. It doesn't matter if it's in a wrestling room, if it's in a club, if it's in the street, you shake hands, there's a match, we wrestle it. And there's a score at the end and you try to get your hand raised, right? So now, that being said, our guys love the rack. They want to wrestle in front of fans. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We go, we deal with it, we move on, and this is a hard year for these guys that love to perform in front of fans, but that's just an excuse. You can't use that as the reason why we're not performing. So we're going to put our foot on the line. We're going to shake hands, and there's going to be 7 minutes on the clock, and you try to get your hand raised. That's the way we're going about it. And but sure, we would love to have fans, and hopefully we get them back sooner rather than later.
One last question. You had a very young team last year. It's no secret.
Yep.
A lot of experience coming back now. A lot of guys who were thrown to the wolves. Do you have a lot higher expectations for this team with them having a year under their belt of being in the Big Ten Conference?
I think so. I think at every weight, all the guys that wrestled last year are better, right? Even guys like Joe Grello have been around. He's a lot better. Billy Janzer is a lot better. Robbie Kennard had a redshirt year. He's a lot better. Jackson Turley is a lot better. So I think from a developmental standpoint, those guys are better, including Aguilar and Sammy. They're just better wrestlers. We're clearly getting one of the best kids in the country at 141. We're going to be better at that weight, right? So I just think we've done a good job of developing. I think obviously the experience of the conference, knowing what to expect, helps. But then you got guys that don't know every single night in and night out, what to expect maybe. Guys like Robbie Kennard. Now he sat and watched it. But, there's a whole different story when you're in the thick of it. So he'll have to get accustomed to that. Somebody like John Paz, true freshman, that'll be different for him. He's a kid from Colonial. I could assure you he's not wrestling East Brunswick, North Brunswick, and South Brunswick. And he knows that. And how he adjusts to it will be a major, that'll be a big indicator on how he performs this year. But the guys who have had experience from last year are all better for it. And so, that shouldn't be an excuse with the youth.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it, Lex.
We have about 5 minutes left with Coach Goodale here, so our next question will be to Nick Costco, and then we'll do some follow-up questions. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Coach. Just going back to the guys' performance at Battle on the Banks over the weekend, what did you see mostly from those guys who did wrestle? I know some guys had to be late scratches, but particularly from guys like John Poznansky, who wrestled C.J. Brucky, who's a senior-level athlete at the NJRTC, and also guys like Billy Janzer, obviously Sebastian Rivera. What did you make out of those guys' performance in a freestyle setting?
Yeah.
Basically just less than a week before the season starts.
Yeah, well, first of all, we wanted to just give our guys opportunities, and we've done that all fall with the trip to North Carolina and obviously the Battle of the Banks. It gives them something to prepare for. For somebody like John Paz, who hasn't been in a dual meet in a long, long time, that's why he wanted to do it. And we had to get Brucky. He was available, and that's one of the reasons, right? Probably not ideal, senior-level athlete, but Paz wanted to wrestle him. So he wanted to be in that event to simulate making weight, getting down to weight, and then wrestling, of course, this Friday night. So that was the main reason. I thought the preparation leading up to it, what we did the day before to get our weight down, what we did the morning of to keep our weight down and to get on weight, how we prepared leading up to it, those are the reasons why we did it. And the guys who stayed back in the morning, we did the same thing, match simulators in the practice room. So that's the reason why we do it, and it's great to have some nerves and some anxiety and, what to expect, not to expect, a different arena than the wrestling room. So that's the reason for it. I thought, the guys who really wrestled well, got after it, were in your face, wrestled hard for 7 minutes. Even someone like Sebastian, who was tired, wrestling a guy who's been around a long, long time. He was tired, and he just pushed through it. It's a great example for our younger guys to follow that. And it was good that Kristen Colucci, who hasn't wrestled in well over a year, was in a tight 3-2 match. That stuff matters. But that's what we were looking for. Robbie Kennard opens up in the second period and has a huge second period. Those are the things we were looking at. Same with Mikey Van Brill. So we were looking at that. And then obviously when you don't win, you're upset with the guys that kind of faded a little bit and weren't in great wrestling shape. Britton wrestled 2 indicator matches in the morning, was a fill-in, so we're excited for him getting an opportunity to compete. But other than that, all in all, good day. It sets us up for Friday night, and that's the reason we did it.
We have time for 2 more questions here, so we'll go to James Cratch. Go ahead, James.
Scott, I'm curious about the extra bouts. Are there any sort of ground rules the conference has set? You don't want Sebastian and Nick Lee 2 weeks from now wrestling on the side outside of a duel. Are they doing anything like that?
I'll learn more here at 12 o'clock. We're on a Big Ten call to get all that solidified. But, James, I don't think you'll see something like that. I mean, dual meets are still incredibly important. I think if you're trying to have a good quality dual meet, you're going to wrestle in the duel. So there's no sense wrestling on the side. I mean, there might be situations where within our conference, and I'm not using our team, but any team, you have a nationally ranked guy, top 10 guy that's off to an 0-4 start. And maybe he doesn't want to wrestle, and I'm just throwing this out there, Gable Stevenson, maybe he wants to wrestle on the side and wrestle a backup to maybe help the confidence, maybe get him. I'm just thinking along those lines to help guys with quality wins and things. We still want to help our conference, right? We're not wrestling outside of our conference. So what you're going to have is you may have guys 2-7, 1-5. Are they still nationally ranked? Are they going to get a bid to the national tournament? Because this year is a little bit different. They're going to go on historical data. There's no RPI. There's no winning percentage, which helps us, right? Because we're in the Big Ten conference. So, you think about some of the really good guys in our conference could have a losing record. So we got to do things still to help our conference. I think you will see maybe matches or quads or tries turn into round-robin events in a couple different cases. Again, I'll know a lot more come 12 o'clock this afternoon when I get on a call with the Big Ten coaches to square all that out.
And I guess 2 things. Are they going to pump in crowd noise like basketball and football? Do you know if that's the case?
That's a heck of a question. I don't know. Some of these wrestling events, you get some music in the back. I don't know what they're going to do.
I guess the last thing I have is Big Ten championships. Are they staying at Penn State, or are you guys going to move them?
Staying at Penn State. A lot of talk of moving them out to the Sears Center in Chicago. They got away from that, and we're going to stick to Penn State. The one thing about Penn State, they will get back into rotation immediately to host again. They're not going to have to wait 13 years, so they're kind of giving them a free pass. They won't host next year because Nebraska's done all the work already, but Penn State will be back in the rotation pretty quickly to host with fans.
Thanks, James. And our final question will be Steve Falk. Go ahead, Steve.
Scott, what have you seen from Sebastian since he joined the program in the summer? Is he everything you thought he would be?
Yeah, Steve, you know Frankie Egger really well. He's Frankie. He's like that's that mindset. I don't know if he's the best wrestler. He's so darn tough and just can go, and he has to win at everything, right? He's got to win up the stadium stairs. He's very, very competitive, and his mind is just super, super tough. I knew a little bit about that. I didn't realize it until he's an incredible leader, one of the best leaders I've ever coached. He's really taken these guys under their wing. He's really taken the younger guys under the wing. He's always in the room late at night with the guys when nobody else is around. He's spending a lot of time with our younger guys, which excites me, but an incredible leader, incredible work ethic, and he just loves to compete. Something like it's been a while since I coached something like that for sure.